a delicious bread recipe with only 5 ingredients. You will need 500 grams of sifted plain flour. This will mean that your bread isn't lumpy and it's nice and smooth, and when it bakes in the oven it's not going to be crumbly. You will need about 290 millilitres of warm water, not hot water, just warm water. You will need about a tablespoon of oil. You will need about a pinch of salt. And you will also need some cling film as well. What you're going to do is you're going to add your sugar or sweetener to the warm water and give it a mix until it's all combined. And then what you are going to do is that you are going to add your yeast. I use dry yeast, but I know that some people have sourdough starters or they have yeast starters, but dried yeast just works as well. So just pour your yeast into the water and you are going to let this sit for about 5 to 10 minutes until the yeast starts to foam up on top of the water. So I left my yeast for about 15 minutes to foam up, and this is what it should look like after 15 minutes. So the edges of the jug or whatever that you're using to make your water and yeast mixture, it should be foaming around the edges and starting to slowly move into the middle. So now that this is done, we are ready to use it. Now the next step is to add your salt, and you want to mix it into the flour like this. And then what you want to do is that you want to make a well for your yeast and water and sugar mixture to go into the centre of. So just make a well like this so that the water does not spill over the edges and it's got a nice wall formation around the side. Your next step is to gently add the water and the yeast mixture to your flour, and you want to mix it all together until the water and the yeast is combined with the flour into a dough. So you just want to mix your water and yeast mixture with the flour, so just bring little bits down from the sides of the bowl and mix into the water and the yeast until it forms a dough. And if it is a little dry when you're in the process of doing this, just add a little bit more water until you get a smooth dough mixture. Now as you're mixing your dough together, it may look like this, which is completely normal. What you want to do is just add a little bit of water and mix it in thoroughly to make sure that it forms a dough. And now that your mixture has started to form a dough, you can place it onto a clean worktop that has flour on it so that when you're kneading your bread it doesn't stick to the worktop. So just pop your bread mixture onto the worktop and you're going to knead this together until it is a smooth consistency, about 10 minutes until it's completely smooth and all the flour has dissolved from the outside. It hasn't looking really doughy, so just do knead that together for 10 minutes, and you can also add more water or more flour if the worktop is starting to form sticky again, and you should end up with a lovely bread mixture. So to knead your bread, what you're going to do is just pop your bread onto the surface and you're wanting to push it out with the palm of your hand, the bottom part of your hand. You're going to push it out with the bottom part and then you're going to pull it back onto the rest of the dough and you're going to push it out and then you're going to turn it clockwise, anti-clockwise, whatever way you want to work, and you're just going to repeat the process until your bread has become a nice smooth dough mixture. So after about 10 minutes of kneading your dough, your bread should look like this. So as you can see, it is smooth and there's a couple lumps clumps of flour on there, but that's okay because when you knead the flour and the bread together on the worktop, some bits will fall off and form little bits of dough like this little bit, and it's perfectly normal. Cast your tray that you are going to let the bread proof on with a little bit of flour, just so that the bread, when it's perfect, it does not stick to your tray at all. You're going to put your bread into the centre of the tray that it is going to proof on. You're just going to gently add a little bit of oil or Frylight or whatever kind of oil substitute that you want to use. So you're just going to rub that all over the top of the bread, and it will give it a nice golden crust when it is baking in the oven later. So you're just going to cover all of that with oil, just a little bit of oil, about a teaspoon, and you're going to cover that in cling film and let that proof for an hour to an hour and a half until it doubles in size. So this is about 20 minutes after I have left it to double in size, and as you can see, it is already starting to rise. As you can see on the cling film there, the dough is starting to stretch out and up by the little air pockets that you see there, which is a good sign, as it means that the bread is starting to double in size. So just leave it for about another hour or so until it doubles in size, and then you can pop it in the oven. And this is the bread after an hour and a half of proofing. So as you can see, it has more than doubled in size. So what I'm going to do is put a sprinkle of flour over the top of it before putting it in the oven so that it doesn't burn, and putting it in the oven for about 20 minutes until the bottom is solid and the top is golden and crispy. So you just want to put the oven on at 230 degrees, fan ovens 210, gas mark 8, and then when you're putting your bread into the oven you want to turn it down by 20 degrees. And that is the bread all done, so hopefully you guys enjoy the bread and eat it however you want.